right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and this is a winery that some people forget about, but one of the best wineries in Napa Valley today still is one of the original four, Charles Krug, owned by the Mondavi family, the Peter Mondavi side of it, since 1944. An amazing man, Peter Mondavi. He is like 98, 99 years old, and the guy is still incredibly fit. He runs up and down the stairs. They've got a video of him doing it on their website every day, and drinks wine every day. That's one of the things that keeps you young. And Peter Mondavi was in one of the first families of wine in Napa Valley, and what nice guys these guys are. Mark Mondavi's brother, I've seen him in the past. He's brought his wines, and just still excited to get out there and talk to the people. They're wine drinking people. They want to see how they like their wines. And like I said, man, for estate bottle wines, or almost all estate bottle wines, these guys know a lot of people in Napa Valley. They buy some juice occasionally, but they've got several hundred acres of their own vineyards, and just like I said, incredible values. The Sauvignon Blanc, for instance, St. Helena Appellation. This is a New Zealand style, so no oak. This 2012, really fresh. It's harvested at night, and they just started using this St. Helena AVA, which they've added several. I think there's 15 or 16 AVAs now in the Napa Valley in a small area, but even though it's 7 miles wide and 24 miles long, still very different areas in terms of climate and geology. All right, well, they've got 850 acres of land to be exact. Wow, 500 of them planted, and 90% of the grapes that they use in their wines are their own. Very fresh grapefruit and gooseberry with notes of fresh baled hay and a slight briny, minerally character to the nose there. And they do multiple picks to get different levels of ripeness to add complexity to this wine. Whole cluster press it and save it on the skins overnight. So it does have a little body to this wine, and lovely melon and fig fruit on the tongue, and really refreshing style. This is the number 2 largest produced wine at Krug at $15.75. An incredible value, one of the best Sauvignon Blancs. I'm embarrassed to say, usually we have this wine on the shelf. We don't have a bottle of Krug in the store, but trust me, we will be bringing all this stuff back in. The Merlot, a Cabernet drinkers Merlot. They have their Merlot planted on heavier soils in Yountville and the Carneros area, which is known for making better Merlot. This wine's got a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, Petit Syrah, and Cabernet Franc in it. So it spends about 20 months in French oak. You do get some nice spice in these wines. I like a little bit of oak in my Cabernet, Merlot, and even my Chardonnay. It adds a little bit of spice, just like salt and pepper that the chef uses. And nice, ripe, and fruity wine, though. You notice is Napa Valley. It's got some lovely cigar box spice, some cafe mocha, and a little bit of old world kind of thrown in there with the new world blackberry fruit. Really nice complexity on the nose. Really nice, Merlot doesn't have to be big. It's about nuance with Merlot. I mean, it's more in the front of your palate than the back of your palate with the tannins, and really polished and smooth this wine is, and very elegant. Notes of milk chocolate on the finish. $21.50. All right, the Cabernet Sauvignon from Yountville up next. They make 2 Cabernets, this in the Vintage Select for the most part, and they've been making that since 1944. Wow. They shrunk the portfolio quite a bit. They were at 27 different wines. They're down to 8, a bit more manageable. I'm not talking about the CK Mondavi label. That's managed by Mark, and they have different winemaking guys, different facilities for that, and that's hundreds of thousands of cases of brands. And it's always been marketed different. That was the downfall. The other side of the Mondavi family, the Mondavi Woodbridge and Mondavi Coastal, these other, less expensive brands started to dilute the respect and the opinion of the Robert Mondavi Napa label, which they've never done with the Charles Krug label. And like I said, these guys still making incredible values. This wine, $24.75, all estate bottled, almost 84% Cab, 10% Merlot, 4% Petit Verdot, 2% Cab Franc. Again, 20 months in American and French oak, big and chewy. This wine's got a lot of that cigar box spice, a lot of the cedar notes, the vanilla. Also, really little smoky nuance to this wine on the finish, but really fresh still and balanced. These wines have never gone after the scores. They've always made wines that are meant to be on the table. 37,000 cases. Wow, excellent juice. One of the best Cabernets I've had this year for under $25. The best Cabernet I've had this year under $25. The Generations Family Reserve was up next. This is the blended counterpart to the Vintage Reserve. And 77% Cabernet, 13% Merlot, 8% Petit Verdot, 8% Cab Franc, about 21 months in all French oak. And a very complex wine here on the nose. An array of mineral, fresh fresh earth, dark cherry, blackberry, espresso, from pretty floral notes, also dark chocolate, and they've upped the percentage of Cabernet Sauvignon over the years. You get some lovely spice from the oak here, cinnamon, nutmeg, cedar, cigar box. 1991 was the first vintage of this wine, and it is most excellent and still under 50 bucks. $49.50. You get the value here. All of these wines, even the $100 wine coming up next. The 44 vintage was the first vintage of this wine, and like I said, if anyone deserves $100 for a bottle of wine in Napa Valley, it's the Mondavi family. I've said that about the Robert Mondavi side. I'll say about Peter's side of the family also, and these guys making some outstanding wine here. These are from the best blocks of their vineyards, and 97% Cabernet Sauvignon, a little bit of Cabernet Franc and Merlot. 21 months in oak. And it's not produced every year, only in great vintages. They only make about 1,400 cases, or made 1,400 cases of this 2010 vintage, a more classic vintage. You get some lovely raspberry and cherry coulis, really lovely concentration here on the nose, dark chocolate, violet aromas, really complex array bouquet of aromas in the bouquet here. A big wine on the palate here too. This wine needs some time. That's all the 2010s have got this lovely classic structure. You don't even notice the 15.2% alcohol. Hey, that's what you need for phenolic ripeness in California today. Unfortunately, a lot of alcohol, but this wine is still fresh on the finish. Has these lovely, smooth, and velvety tannins. Even though they're big, this wine needs a little time. I'd like to try it in about 10 years, and I want to check out this project with Thomas Brown at their new Howell Mountain property, about 500 cases, called Aloft. Another $100 bottle of wine. But like I said, from the Mondavi family, these guys are worth it. That's what I had to drink with Peter Mondavi. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.